Hey, 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 Phoenix is rising and welcome. This podcast discussion is about minding your own business and when it becomes a crime. And let's get through to the intro. I so wish that I had some music to go along with this, but I have to upgrade my plan and I'm not going to do that right now, but it's in the future. All right. So my name is Tennille, and I am a transformational coach and a NARC coach for Black lesbians and trans women, especially who are 30 to 50 years old and have survived a relationship with cluster B personalities, whether it's family, friends, or coworkers, boyfriends, girlfriends, etc. And you are now ready to go through the 4 steps that I guide everybody through, whether it be group or individual. To break generational curses and to get to know the Most High God better. And not just that, but to regain your confidence and your clarity. Because we know how cluster B personalities, the malignant narcissist, the borderline personality, the sociopath, okay, we got that whole cluster B umbrella cocktail, that whole fruity cocktail, demonic cocktail that we deal with. And they put you through the ringer to take your life force, to take your essence, to take your spark, to dull your sparkle, right? And so I am providing people in my community, especially, specifically, first and foremost, with a community and discussions and courses and programs and mini workshops, and just mini studies so that they can rebuild themselves, right? I am only a guide. I am in the hero's journey. You always have somebody who's been through it before you, so they have wisdom in that area, right? If you get all those hero stories, all those little Disney stories, right? You get all those hero stories, and you have somebody who is guiding the main character, the protagonist, through, right? And sometimes the antagonist is not some, demon eyed, reptilian faced, whatever. Sometimes it's our thoughts. And that's what I help you guys through, right? I help you guys to get through to uncondition yourself and renew your mind, because it truly is how you think. How you think emits a vibration that signals to other cluster B personalities that you have already been handled by one of their own, and you're still breathing. So that means that they have a chance. People want to know, well, why am I always feel like I'm dealing with cluster B personalities. One, it's an immature way to look at it because you're still blaming yourself. You're still in victim mode. You don't understand completely that most of the time it has nothing to do with you. Cluster B personalities are what they are. You will have individuals who are cluster B personality, which means that you are character disturbed. The character disturbance means that you are what you are throughout your whole entire body. Your cells live and breathe. That's why when you are around cluster B personalities, they literally take the life force of an area out. They turn the light into darkness. So it's not about you, but it is frustrating because what they naturally feed off of, we produce. Whether you want to call yourself chosen, super empath, heyoka, whatever. You do this. And a lot of us, what we end up doing is we end up going dormant. I did this before I was forced out of hibernation. I remember a roommate that I had. She looked at me and she said, "You're a sleeping dragon. You're an old sleeping dragon." Right? Wasn't old, but that, I mean, I've always been an old soul. And so, but now I'm a woke dragon, right? It's just that wisdom. So I guide you through. And so just so you know, I am that transformational coach. I am that NARC coach who speaks about spiritual things. We may go to, we're going to get into Hinduism. We're going to get into the Bible scriptures and elaborate on those more deeply. We're going to get into articles that are out of this world, right? Because when you do have this run and it changes your life for a good way, in a good sense, to you break out of a lot of of beliefs and systems that were designed, constructed for you when you were born into this world. And now you're no longer inhibited, inhibited by it. Because I know I was always open to spiritual matters because I'm a spirit first. I'm a healer first. And healers can't heal without knowledge. And I'm that type of healer where I just know that I know that I know. I don't have to do a lot of reading. Reading just confirms for me. If I get a tarot card reading, that just confirms for me what I already knew. And sometimes, because what the devil will do and his minions through the cluster B personalities, that cocktail, right? You got a whole bunch of entities in one person. They are willing demonic vessels. And again, I want to say this. If you're listening to my podcast discussions and you go back to your channel and you start using terms that I use, give me credit. Because it won't be pretty. I will not tolerate anybody stealing from me. And you have over 200,000 or, whatever subscribers because you do tarot. A lot of these tarot readers come over to my channel and they don't give credit to where credit's due, but the Most High is always letting me know who's doing what. And I'm not going to out you because I don't do drama. But if you start feeling your head like your head's is getting ready to split, that's me. Give me credit where credit's due. Okay. So thus having said, I'm not just a coach. Again, I am a survivor of at least 15 years of gang stalking, which is dying out now, witchcraft attacks. And I mean, I've had people try and do ancient spells. Like I've never had the different experience with an experience that I've never had until waking up is having somebody try and attach themselves or marry me, do some demonic attachment. I forget what it's called. So where I'm literally, I sat here one day, and was working on my computer doing my animations and stuff. And I felt something crawl. It literally because I can see into the spirit world. And if you guys have listened to some of my older podcast discussions, I'm letting you know what my gifts are. And there was something that ran up my, like diagonal from my mouth up and into my eye. And it freaked me out because why? Somebody had attached and I call it like the Tales of the Crypt. It's like a Tales of the Crypt because I was trying to figure out. It's like Most High God is like, hey, Mama God, what is this thing? Because it's like, what is attached to me? And I said, it feels like if you guys have ever watched, if you're Generation X, you've watched Tales of the Crypt. There was Tales of the Crypt, Tales of the Hood, right? And I said, that's what it feels like. Because I was like, why does my mouth feel like every time I open it, there's cobwebs or something, right? Or I feel like I'm choking on something, right? It felt like I was in a coffin. So one or two things could have happened. Somebody did a coffin spell. Somebody bound me to some type of marriage that they have no authority to bind me to. And see, when you work these steps and when you work them sincerely, passionately, and diligently, because these are steps that you do all throughout your whole entire life. It doesn't stop. I am providing a community of supportive people, like-minded people, safe place to discuss and to go through our feelings, right? I am not a counselor. If you need the counselor, you need a counselor. You need somebody who's a licensed therapist. I am not. I am a transformational coach, right? That's where my training comes from, is getting you from point A to point B, getting you to where you think that you need to go. I am not going to I could lead you to water. I'm not going to make you drink though. Okay. So anyway, I do come from the supernatural. I do come from the spiritual. So I've had these witchcraft attacks. I've had, people literally, because I can feel it, try and attack my crown chakra, block my third eye. I've had something oppress like a blanket almost and trying to encapsulate me. So no discernment or when you have intuition, it's all energetic. So you're always communicating with the higher realms. if you're doing a practice, right? Especially when I've done the intermittent fasting, I've done fasting, I've done a dry fast. I've done a lot. I've gone through a lot, and in order to bring you guys to get through my own darkness, right? And most of it was the darkness that other people had placed upon me to try and make me feel ashamed of my light. When you understand what cluster B personalities, their tactics are, and the spiritual demonic hierarchy, right? That's what the Most High has been showing me. So I understand all about that, and so that's where I come from. I'm not going to come from, oh well, we it's that constant battle. No, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It's created because one needs it more than the other, right? Because yeah. Anyway, so that's what we get into with me, and also I have survived narcissistic or cluster B abuse for over 10 years, but just with dealing with the gang stalking. And as if you guys have been listening to my other podcasts, I say what Phoenix is Rising Academy. Gang stalking is a sorority for cluster B personalities and their flying monkeys to trade recipes. And that's what does happen with gang stalking. I still have it now. I had people taking pictures of me, following me when I was off the streets, and when I was on the streets. When they can't get you in the physical, they go to you in the spiritual. I had people creating situations that could have killed me. I had people who were gang stalking gang members and using witchcraft and to sacrifice me, to sacrifice my animals. It's real stuff. It's not. So when I speak to you guys, I speak to you from a passion of getting through it when I never thought that I would. I just knew that come hell or high water, whether I was dead or alive, I was going to break as many generational curses that I could and go back at least to the Most High, to the whole, and, with knowledge, not in pain, not in fear. Okay. So, so for over 10 years, I dealing with cluster B abuse, and I also had a narcissistic mother and a father, right? In those 10 years that I was homeless, 10 years that I was dealing with over 10 years that I was dealing with the gang stalking and witchcraft attacks and whatever. For 3 of those years, I was homeless. And literally it's been since it was in 2017 that I was homeless, walking the streets, that all of a sudden my whole life turned upside down. And I couldn't die and I couldn't live. I had no idea at the time what to do. And people were failing me, because when you become homeless, what they want you to be is vulnerable, because then you're ripe for the plucking. They didn't know about me, though. They didn't know about me. I didn't know about me, because I'd been a dormant dragon, like my friend had said. I was a sleeping dragon, but I was about ready to wake up. Okay, so I survived only because I took on the hero's call, right? I went on my own personal hero's journey with no help. I actually had people, again, Phoenixes, I did this by myself. I didn't have a counselor to call. I didn't have a mommy or daddy to call. I didn't have even a sister or a brother to call. I had nobody to call. I was alone. I was frightened. I was scared. Jim Because says, please explain how they attacking you in the spiritual realm. With me, it's food or sex in a dream. Jim, because the way that they attack me has been sexually. I have been essayed in the spiritual realm. It's not fun. Especially if you have spiritual gifts and you can sense, the spiritual realm around you. You can sense energies and when something's off. I have had them as soon as I've gone to sleep. It's basically projecting a piece of themselves, and while they're doing a ritual in where they're at. So let's say somebody's in San Francisco, and they know they're remote viewing me, or they're astral traveling to me, and they know that, or having somebody do it, and they know that I'm asleep, right? So they get in. This is why you have to protect, do something like, I call forth protocol angels, my guides, and my assassin ancestors, because I'm tired. So I want you're violating me on a spiritual cosmic level, because you're doing it while somebody is asleep. right? And so again, this goes into calling when you realize how powerful you are, that you can call debt. You're never going to be poor because you realize that the people who are attacking you, the creatures that are attacking you, are under your feet. Right, when we said in the Bible, it says, "Oh, well, they're under our feet. They're under our feet." So basically, what I do is I command, or instruct. I make decrees, and I say, anyone who comes after me or my children and attacks us while we're sleeping, or tries to negatively influence our subconscious, conscious, or unconscious mind, is incinerated. As many times as they want to continue to come through, they're going to be incinerated. And it's covering yourself. Like if you want to get some eggshells and dampen it, put with some oil, mix it with some oil, and form a cross on your forehead so they're not blocking your third eye or your crown. And then on the back of your spine, because your spine is an entryway, they're actually trying to get to your amygdala, right? I mean, that's what I said. As a coach, we go into different stuff, but hopefully, that answers your questions. There are many ways that these guys attack, Jim. There are many ways that these guys attack, and unfortunately, I have somebody who is in a psychosis that because I'm so protected, and I want to. My desire, my passion is to show other phoenixes rising how to protect themselves, how to make decrees, how to call forth your birthright, right? Because when you know, but you have to do the steps first. You cannot come from that broken, wounded person, that the child in you. You can't come from that. You have to grow, and when you grow, the having that heart like a child, right? You could still, the child is still there. It's just you are able to take care of them now, right? Like I mean, and it got so deep in the war, in the spiritual battle with me in my situation, that these guys were planning and plotting to, I could hear them and I could feel it, that they were planning to kill me on several occasions. And one was just to burst into my hotel room and either start firing or whatever, and then sex traffic me, right? That, which is not going to happen. I can't picture myself being sex trafficked. That's just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right, But yeah. So yeah, there's many ways that they've come after me. I've had a succubus who I barely even talked to, but she had been spying astral on me. So she came in and wound her in her, she shape shifted into some kind of reptilian thing, and was trying to get to do lust spells on me and whatnot. And it never worked because I can see you. So I frustrate them, but they frustrate me too, because it's like when it's over, it should be over. But with cluster B personalities, they don't stop because they're always trying to win. And sometimes, when you leave them, they will stalk you. That's part of the symptoms or the tactics that they use to get you to be submissive to them, right? So anyway, hopefully that answers your question, but let me get through this now. So I survived because the divine took me through 4 steps to my spiritual, financial, physical, and mental freedom. Now, don't think Phoenix's Rising Academy that just because, I'm still struggling, or now I have to start over from starting over, and I put in all this work before. No, it just means that you're winning. And because I've been frustrated with this too. But what the Most High God said is, because when we are healers, a lot of times, so Yeshua's sacrifice, I believe, is symbolic. It's not about him dying for our sins. Okay. So here's something. This is a seed. So please pay attention. Because I know for me, what we do, and somebody said this on TikTok, and I thought it was just so beautiful, and I thank the Most High God for confirmation. So, when Yeshua, as the symbol of dying, okay, if he died for our sins, he died for our sins. He died to help clear, right? The death sometimes is not physical. The death, when I was on the streets, I also died for you. And I'm not trying to be cheeky. There's no blasphemy here. because Isa said, what I do, you can do and greater, which means you can tap into your higher selves on multiple dimensions. Somebody was saying, and I'm like, I feel like like right now, things are clearing away, right? And so we are truly transitioning now. I think we give it a couple months. But he said this, and I understood. The Most High in meditation let me know, it's like, okay, well, see, this is what you were doing. So when I was ticked, I was really mad. I was like, look, why can't you just strike these guys down? Or because they weren't attacking me, because I had already been given the green light, right? Because I am about that life. I've told you guys before in other discussions. If you've been listening, you know me. I am not going to just sit back. I had the succubus who showed up. I literally was arrested. God made me dumb so that she could still breathe. But in her arrogance, she just thought, I read her mind. She just thought that, oh, she doesn't recognize me because she was glamorizing herself as a white woman. This is a Hispanic lady, dark. Right? So she said, oh, she doesn't recognize me. And I said, no, I recognize you. They're literally, my guides are holding me back. They are making me stupid so that I didn't go after this woman for it, because she attempted to kill me. But you see the delusions of grandeur, the delusions that these guys have. You try and kill somebody. You try and sacrifice their children, their fur babies, their jobs, right? So that they can bow down to you, or as punishment for rejecting, right? That's what cluster B personalities do. But when she showed up, they stopped me. Because I was in my mind, I was on the dog walk with my bigger dog, who they tried repeatedly to kill, to bring me pain, because she is my favorite baby. And and in my mind, I was tying her up, and I was heading towards the car and getting ready to yank this woman, the succubus, out of it. But I could never really get to her and touch her. So imagine I'm in my own mindscape. They're not showing themselves. I just know it's them, because it's the second time that they've literally arrested me from taking justice into my own hands. Right? So anyway, I'm not going to keep going on with that vein, but when Isa said, when that symbolics of dying on the cross, what I do for myself, I do for the collective. So when I was on the streets for 3 years and them trying to kill me, rob from me, SA me, sabotaging housing, sabotaging work, sabotaging living arrangements, calling the cops when I was living out of abandoned buildings, calling the cops when I was sleeping on the dirt, right? They're calling the cops and all this stuff. So by me going through my trial, by me taking on the hero's journey, by me getting to know myself, by me not giving up when they wanted me to, by me, okay, Jim says, yes, thanks for letting me know. No, I've heard evil chanting, then I've felt dizzy and unmotivated. Thank you for that, what you're doing. Yes, and that is something that goes on. It's like when you start, I get headaches, and it's the evil eye. And Jim, if you're still here, let me say this mantra, okay? Because I'm a big one for mantras. They've literally saved my life. It's it's actually an evil eye mantra, because what you'll do is what you're hearing is either somebody is sending you the evil eye, or hopefully you're not sending somebody the evil eye and they're sending it back to you. Okay, so let's be honest with each other, because if you're sending, and a lot of times when because I send things back to people, I don't attack people. If you've done something to me, I am not going to keep that negative energy with me. Not going to, right? Not going to at all. But okay, I don't know how to do that. All right, so I'm going to chant this mantra, okay? Devadanava Siddha Pujita Parameshwari Paranu. Oh, sorry, I just gotta. Devi Danavasiddha Pujita Parameshwari Paranurupa Parama Paratantra Vinashini Devi Danavasiddha Pujita Parameshwari Paranurupa Parama Paratantra Vinashini Devi Danavasiddha Pujita Parameshwari Paranurupa Parama Paratantra Vinashini. So that is a mantra that the Most High introduced me to. Okay, because my my home group, my kin, are the Indians, and they haven't been specific because I know that there are different sects, but Hinduism, what is now called Hinduism, is my eternal. And so that if you look up, if you go to in your Google search, your your YouTube search, and it's the Nav Abari, I think, mantra. Hold on just a minute. But anyway, sign in, type in mantras to block evil eye, because that's usually where the headaches are going. And it could just be like I've seen in the spiritual realm people literally beating me on the head. You know, like you've got to be kind of powerful if people, oh, okay, evil eye tantric Buri Nazar protection mantra. So it's the evil eye tantric Buri Nazar protection mantra. And I say that when, especially, you're welcome, hun. Especially when I start getting, headaches that don't have to do with that time of the month or lack of hydration or whatever, right? You use your own spirit for discernment. So when you start getting, because I mean, I'm in an environment where people are, and I still have stalkers, and be they, spiritual stalkers more than anything. But when spiritual stalkers get mad, they start sending and paying people to track and trace you. So oh my god, that water never tastes so good. Anyway, so I hope that helps, honey. And really, I'm gonna after the success of of this of the 8-week course coming in summer, this next summer, going for it again. It's a 2-part 8-week program called From Sealed to Healed, right? So you're no longer sealed by other people's belief systems or your own fears or your own shame or your own guilt. But the first part of it is getting you to know who and what cluster B personalities are. And we're going to talk about our experiences, right? Like with witchcraft, because witchcraft is anything that manipulates somebody else into doing something that they wouldn't otherwise do, to get them off course, to distract them, to be favorable. Pardon me. To be favorable for something to somebody else, right? Um, so the first part is learning the traits, classifications, tactics of people with cluster B personalities. Cluster B personality is somebody who is bipolar, borderline, histrionic, antisocial. Antisocial doesn't mean that you're a hermit. I'm a hermit, which means that I love being in my own feelings, in my own energy. And but I go out, it's basically a rejuvenation that I need all the time, because with people like us, people are always going to be siphoning. And so but antisocial means that we cross boundaries, which is where you get the people who think that it is okay to violate children, animals, and people who don't want to have sex with them or date them, right? There's like, well, I don't respect that boundary, how dare you, right? And that's what narcissists do. How dare you? They may not do it, they may not look ugly and horrendous, they're going to look their best. Why? Because they're still feeding off of somebody who is high vibrating, right? So the first 3 to 4 weeks is getting you guys to understand exactly who you're dealing with, right? It's not a game. Because when you get really deep into what cluster B personalities are, and that they are a cocktail of people who are who are houses who have allowed themselves to be vessels for demonic entities, right? They may not practice witchcraft, but it does not mean that witchcraft does not take place. That's the nature of it. When you have that, you have opened yourself in. When you're going off on somebody, you have opened yourself. You've lowered your own shields. When we vibrate high, when I moved, I transitioned out of that the den of demons, because they were really starting to go in, because they knew I was getting ready to get blessed, and so they were really going in. So we moved. When I came in, I started giving praise. I was in praise. I was raising my hands. I was feeling the spirit. I was like, just thank you so much, because everything worked out in our favor. I took a risk on faith, and the Most High never failed me. I've often told, I had to tell my enemies, the devil doesn't bless as well as the Most High God does. And I said, everything that you have held me back from, that you've built, basically you've you've made sure that I am wealthy for lifetimes, over and over and over and over again, because I know who I am, so I'm claiming it consciously, right? And that's what now they want to take. But with these guys, they don't want to work for it. So that's what we're learning. And the second part is, once you know who you were dealing with, now we go into getting you to your higher self, which means that you have to be honest about what your responsibilities are. We're in a situation, let's say that, because, my God would give me visions. Literally give me visions, right? That's why I'm a filmmaker. Give me visions. And that's why they don't want me producing any films. It's been the hardest just to get little stuff out, which is like nothing, and I don't even want to be a part of Hollywood. I just want to make films and have people see them, which you could do on an iPhone. But anyway, let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Jim asked, you're very, very knowledgeable. Do you think you're shadow banned? I don't know. I think that I am, actually. Jim, I think that I am. And here's why. I don't think that necessarily it's YouTube, because when I moved, my gang stalkers, which was the whole city of Sacramento, my gang stalkers wanted to know where I was, so they came to my YouTube channel. I got over 10,000 views, right? And then on TikTok, on other things, and I know, I can just tell. I can feel the energy when I'm being blocked. I'm being blocked. This one person, if you've heard me talk about Olga Texador, and I always say her name because she is a sex trafficker. She is a North Daniels, or a Northerner gang member, and she is also a racist. So she focuses on those Black people, basically, and little Black girls specifically. I don't know, when you're dealing with cluster B personalities, whoever when they have that narcissistic wound, it's not that the narcissistic wound isn't ever going to go away, even if they succeed in destroying the person they claim to have caused that narcissistic wound within them. It just keeps adding it up. It just keeps building and building and building and building and building, right? So, and also, because of my gifts, I've been able to see things about this creature. She's literally a demon now. She's a full-fledged demon. And she was blocking me from being in a relationship with my kin. I was able to meet my kin. The Most High God said, this is who you're going to spend the rest of your, because that's what I asked for. I said, please show me, just because I'm feeling very, like unaliving myself and starting completely over. And and I said, and I'm very transparent, so forgive me if I don't announce that there's the trigger warning beforehand, but I want you to know exactly, my friends or my foes, right? I had the succubus who was made all these, would literally talk to me on my TikTok lives as if everything was going great, and as if she hadn't just tried to kill me, or tried to have somebody kill me, or send somebody to stalk and harass me, right? When you get in, these guys can put on a very robotic, normal-esque face mask, you know. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the Olga has I've described her in detail, and Olga has gone out of her way. For some reason, she has been very jealous. Like she's like that golden child sibling. She didn't. To her, we were in a relationship because I simply lived with her, right? The Lord adds and bring no sorrow. I mean, it really does. That's why I got to see that out. It's right. It's like we can't say no or have any rights. And yeah, that's it. That's it. And I mean, I'm dealing with that at my work right now, where it's like I'm at a cluster B job, and they want you to keep it's and I and I was like, I'm so grateful that you prepared me. But it's like at this point, I am okay with not being there, because a lot of times people will use, like for me, after being homeless, it's okay, we always got to have money. We always got to have money. Well, I have skills. I have skills, right? So if you fire me, if you assault me, right? Things of this nature. So I don't, I'll be okay, because like I said, I have a treasure chest in the universe around me. All I have to do is make a withdrawal. I got to go to my spiritual bank and make a withdrawal. See, that's what people don't realize. If you stick through it and you keep raising up, you level up in the spiritual realm. You still may look like a pauper in the physical realm, in this temporal realm, because it's their realm. This is their domain. This is not God's domain, but God's people are here. Understand that. This is not God's domain. God's people are here. And I'll talk to you a story about that, because I don't believe I'm supposed to be here. But you know, um, but anyways, yeah. So it is that sabotage that they can't help it, because it's like, well, how come you get this? Right? All throughout the Bible and in other, spiritual books, we have this example, these stories of somebody getting jealous of, David, what was it? Solomon was jealous of David, or mad at David. I mean, he did go, I think it was David. Was it David? David went after somebody's wife and he chased after his ass. But you know what I mean? And with cluster B personalities, they see everybody as being in competition with them. Okay, Saul, thank you so much. Yeah, that's right. Saul was jealous of David. And yeah, well, and you know what? I realized the other day at work, I'm barely present. I literally have to tap out when I'm at work. But I realized, I said, that's why I always felt like I was an alien. Right? Like when I was 15, I was like, God, I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Something's wrong. And I remembered saying to myself, like, I did some stuff that you see in the movies now, where people are experimenting by accident. It's not that they're experimenting. They were showing what was natural to them as a spiritual gift. And you saw people calling them freaks and stuff like that. That's what I came in here doing. It's not an exaggeration. I came in here doing some stuff and thinking to myself, this world, this atmosphere is too dense. I remembered flying. I remembered having wings, right? You do have etheric wings. I used to be able to spread them, but there's so much that has changed on this planet that has deadened us, because they don't want us to be alive. David killed Uriah for Bathsheba. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a couple 5 years since I've read the Bible. It's like, I swear, I always felt that people aren't real. I was feeling that myself. I said, oh my God, because again, with cluster B personalities, they're always dibbling dabbling with other people's reality, right? And that got me thinking into something different. Like, you have to up your spiritual game. It's cool to read the Bible, but if you want to know what everything means, actually go through some stuff. Actually, listen or read the Bhagavad Gita, or get into some of the Puranas or the Vedas, right? Get into other Puranas. Let me not misspeak, but Vedas, they're different chapters, right? Of in Hindu beliefs, and they talk about like mathematical things, scientific things, menstrual things, health things, right? This is why I love it, because this is the origination of my words shall not return unto me void. Right? So that's what gave me life. And it sucks because once you wake up, it doesn't mean that things get better. It doesn't mean that. Once you choose. I cussed out my account manager, not because I'm a big baddie, but just because I'm tired of being as everything. When you've gone through so much, and people's like, well, don't tell your story. No, it's not that I'm telling you because I want you to feel sorry for you. I'm telling you so that you have full knowledge that if I get the green light to strike you down for daring to disrespect me as royalty, then you know where I'm coming from. Once you have an interaction with cluster B personalities, you never that feeling, never, you're always being slimed, right? Because that's what they do. You literally slime you to mark you. In the spiritual realm, they're literally attaching fragmented piece of themselves to you. That's a monitoring spirit. Monitoring spirits are fragmented demonic spirits from people who are still alive, doing recon on you. They're stalking you without stalking you in the physical. Like I said, when they don't want, because they don't want to go to jail. They got several people. We know that with people with cluster B personalities can never be, ever be faithful to anybody. Ever. Even when they're old, to the day that they die, they still do the same thing because what? It's them. It's them. So, okay. So the 4 steps that I take my clients through are: reveal patterns and beliefs that have kept us in a poverty mentality in all areas of our life, not just from the financial, but also from the spiritual, the physical. How are you eating? What are you putting in your body? Right? A lot of people say, oh, you're still, fat. Well, that's stress fat. There's a difference between stress fat and fat from what you eat. And really, you don't get fat off of what you eat. You get fat off of people directing negative demonic energy and entities towards you because they're jealous of you. I have literally had people beat me up, like punching me in my guts. Do you know that if you don't have a clean gut, if you have a tense or stressed out gut, you're going to gain weight no matter what you eat? I intermittent fasted for 3 years, drank water, salad, had protein, had all that, had everything worked out 4 times a day, doing HIIT, training, always working on my legs, because that's the legs are your biggest muscle. Your butt and your thighs, biggest muscle. I did everything. The Most High God said, you did everything. They were literally, you have to be some kind of powerful, but also some kind of crazy to get mad and jealous, to stalk somebody who's not doing anything to you, but going on with their life, and to stalk somebody and to arrest their physical progress. Because you're mad because you're morbidly obese. So, it's not, so poverty doesn't just, and that's what we do the opposite of what these guys are doing. Because when we see cluster B, when we experience what it's like being in a cluster B establishment, working for a cluster B boss in a cluster B atmosphere, you're dealing with workplace mobbing and gaslighting and all this other kind of crap, which is why I said, when minding your own business is a crime. That's the discussion today. When minding your own business is a crime. So anyway, and let me get through this real quick. So heal. When trauma happens, we don't get the bigger picture, but only a snippet. So now now what has been revealed, we've looked at it, we see it for what it is, we've processed it correctly. I've guided you, I've given you some pointers, you've had divine downloads, and now you've cried about it, you've forgiven, you healed yourself. We heal by facing it, not by facing the whole entire situation as it is. I had to ask the divine, show it to me as it actually was. Show me what my part is. And I would, when you ask and you shall receive, right? And so, because when you know better, you do better. And so from that, we heal from being able to face ourselves, be able to face parts and fragments in our lives that were traumatic that we couldn't face before. I had to face the sacrifice death of my grandpuppy, Brittany Elizabeth Adams. They a psychic attack, a witchcraft ritual that I did not disperse completely because I didn't understand what it was. It was the first time I'd gotten hit with it. And actually, when I reflected, it was not the first time, but I was covered mostly. We're trying to give me a heart attack, but it's not the first time that they have had gone after my digestive system. They still go after my digestive system. I still have something energetically attached to me, right? But they killed my grandbaby through that. She was dead, only a year old. Didn't even get to see life, was so loving, anyway, you face that and you realize you right, because that way when the Most High says, hey, don't do anything right now, I got it, I'll vindicate both of you, then I don't go off. I don't fly off at the handle. Like I have emotional intelligence about it because I've seen for the bigger picture. Okay. So then 3, you grow, you release fear, guilt, and shame and forgive others, including yourself. You're no longer carrying on old baggage. So when you lift the weight that has been stunting your growth, you grow and you will literally feel yourself come up. You will feel yourself energetically raised to a vibration. I know for me, because I'm a seer, I saw myself raised in spiritual hierarchy. So that's why I tell people, when they're attacking, it's like when you go to them, it's not even going to them. They see what you are in the spiritual realm, but they're hoping you'll forget because you're still in this realm. So show when similar. Number 4 is to show. So when you go, you show yourself, hey, this is a similar situation, but I'm a different person. I am not going to respond or react. I am going to still speak from my truth, but I know that we play chess and we not checkers. So I'm not going to be arrogant about it. Right. That's what with my job currently. When I am very calculated because I already know they already scared me once when I first got here by not giving me my badge because they literally wanted me to be homeless. Right. So the gang stalking and the gang stalkers, this is a whole network, a race, a culture of people. Up and down, it does not matter. They all keep track. So when they did that the first time, it's like, oh, I'm almost had a heart attack. That's what they were, it was coming in. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to get upset anymore. I'm going to rely on, I asked the Most High, I said, I'm really nervous because of what I've been through. So please help me to heal that in myself and also show me how I can make more than enough money to be able to be self-supporting without having to work 9 to 5. And they have done that. But it's still being attacked. So that's why I said, you can't give up. Just know that the Most High God hears you and that divine timing. So that's why I said, when we're doing our work, we are helping the collective. When I was mad and I was cursing the Most High God, I was cursing my guides and saying, I need better guides. I need stronger guides. I need, what I mean? I was really going in on town on these guys, and these guys are going to bat for me. They really are. Like when you have nothing weighing you down and you can recognize, so everything is fine tuned. Like down to a detail, you can tell, okay, this is a evil eye spell that they're doing, so I got a mantra for that. Okay, or this is they're getting ready to try and accuse me of something, but I got proof that I didn't do that, right? You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times, even if you don't have proof, shutting your mouth and not reacting to what they're saying, because they get confidence off of you, you know, uh blowing up on them. They get confidence off of that. So that's why I said, when I do my work, it helps the collective. So that was the sacrifice. That's the sacrifice that Yeshua went in. Hi, West Ant. Thanks, Jim. Let me see. Do you think they attached an etheric parasite to your solar plate? I think so. Thank you. Yes. Actually, I saw oh God, it was one of those cartoons on YouTube. He goes through the chakras and everything. Anyway, he was talking about his spiritual experience, and that's what he said. He said that he had an etheric parasitic attachment to his solar plexus. But see, it's not making me whatever. It's not making, from his experience, he said that it was making him do evil things, right? Like he was possessed pretty much. It's not making me do anything. It's basically just causing me to gain weight or to stay at the weight. I'm not gaining or losing. I can tell the difference between, like, when you stop fasting, you stop intermittent fasting. I have some side effects from not doing it now. But it shouldn't be as bad as I feel sometimes. But yes, I believe that is what it is. And thank you so much, because I saw it. I actually saw it. And when I first got here, and like I said, I was praising. So the light of the Holy Spirit was shining down. And what I also saw, because this demon, as I've told you about Olga is a parasite. So if she's trying to have this venom attachment, she's a parasitic symbiote, right? Because she's like, okay, well, if you're going to get all these blessings, then I need to get it too, right? So she did some kind of ritual, and I felt it. It was last year. It was at the beginning of last year. That literally I felt like my life had just, because she was trying to literally insert her consciousness into me. And I know it sounds weird, but that's just the reality, because I felt like I was having a heart attack, but I wasn't. And it was very, very, very weird. And plus, again, I can see. So, but whatever was attached, and I could see my solar plexus, my Svadhisthana chakra. I could see whatever it looked like. And I was just thinking about this the other day at work. I said, it looked like a baby. It looked like a little midget thing. You know what I mean? I mean, not to say anything, but it looked like a small person that was attached. So what I saw it in its darkness, but what I saw was my whole entire left side, and what I felt was my whole entire right side, was being purged of this demonic entity. Like it literally had to leave, and it was fighting leaving. So it's not like we're not doing our work. And I told the Most High God, I said, look, I have been doing this for 3 years, and this thing, this demon possessed sex offender, who is now turned into a thing, and the succubus, all these creatures around me, they've they're not going to stop, because if they're in their natural habitat, it's not natural for me to constantly be in a constant state of stress, right? It's not the first time that they had attached themselves, or attacked rather, my Svadhisthana chakra. When I started to actually tone up, and after 4 months, right, I was getting good results, right? Of course, because you're going to do it when you're doing the right things, when you're feeding your body, when you're feeding your mind, when you're feeding your spirit. But what I saw then was somebody literally beating me up, like punching me in the astral realm, punching me, right? And it was hard. It was hard. So I'm dodging these. I'm not dodging. I'm absorbing them. I'm watching myself do this from the spiritual realm, and I'm upset. but in the physical, I mean, it's just like, whoa. So when you have these, our gifts sometimes can be hard, but yeah. So anyway, long story short, they did. Let's see. They don't get confidence from anger. How are they going to get confidence from you being angry? Then help you out if you learn to calm down. Who doesn't get confidence? Well, Wesh, they attached program. Let's see. They attached programs to our brain that modulate our behavior. They will never let up until you do it their way. Well, they haven't attached anything to me, but it's funny that you said that because that's the first thing that was tried uh, 2 years ago before I guess this parasitic kind of venom esque thing they tried to do. Stop. No, I'm not going to stop with the spiritual stuff. I'm going to keep being spiritual because that is who I naturally am. This isn't a pure. If I do believe that this is a hologram, more and more and more, I believe that certain people, certain things, certain places are more set up that way, but it's more complex. You can't, and that's what I've learned too. You have to. This is what it means by lean not on your own understanding. I see things from only from what I'm experiencing at this moment in time. That's it. That's it. The rest is downloaded to me, right? When I ask, I get. It's just me being open to receive. When I ask, I receive, right? So it's everybody wants everything to be an open and shut case. No, it's not. It's not. My experience is going to be different than your experience. Some people who are gang stalked, they say, oh, it's electronic warfare. They're zapping me with uh, uh, death rays or whatever, which I've done the study and I've watched the videos on, how sound has been used to cure cancer, cure diabetes, right? So sound is very important, like in the Bible says, with first there was the word was God, right? They spoke it into sound. It's so anyway, so let's get to it now. Spent a lot of times on it. So in a nutshell, coaching with me, you can be reassured because I've gone through a lot, and that way I can relate with you a lot better. Okay. So that's what I believe makes me a great coach. I have not completely signed, revamped everything, rebranded myself. I'm still waiting for this battle to kind of be over. That's part of EMF ELF. Nothing is physically attached. You know how your radio wave receives an invisible signal and your Wi-Fi works with invisible waves and the TV's picture. Yes, 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 yes. That's part of EMF ELF. The program works that way. The brain is modulated based on your behavior. Well, I do know that they do. I mean, again, I'm just saying that there's a guy on there who talks about the Rosicrucian order, the order of the rose. And they were very much into energy, vibration, and stuff from what I gather. I don't know a whole bunch about it. I'm just, in between work and whatever, I'm learning. All right, Wesh, slow down. Slow down so I can get it. So anyway, I'm learning a lot about, behavior and through energy waves but see, the mantras is you singing, you're emitting a sound, right? In certain patterns, igniting certain particles in the air, right? No. What? I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this only once before I block you. Never ever tell me to not rely on the Most High God. Do I believe in science? Science is knowledge. Am I correct? Right? If you want to go purely from your perspective and that's working out for you, then do that. But never, ever, ever, ever tell anybody how they should believe and who they should rely on, because all exists as it is. I'm not going to trade my experience for yours. It Yeah, I'm going to rely on the Most High God, but the Most High God is also mystical. The Most High God is that mystical stuff that you're against, right? I'm sorry, when you was explaining sounds and frequencies, they use EMF and EL frequencies, also satellites, and keep track. Yes, they never being alone. Yeah, hence never being alone. Yeah. No, and I'm not saying that, but I just don't like that. Don't tell other people not to do the mystical stuff or whatever. I mean, we all believe the way that we believe, and some of us have a different twist on it, and which is absolutely okay. But I'm not going to debate that. Okay? I appreciate your input though. I really do. All right. So, it's already an hour. Jim, you made me go over, man. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, and I understand that God is a spiritual thing, but we're hitting into semantics, right? And semantics is something that, yeah. Yes, it's really, it feels good to talk. That's why I said my desire and passion is to be able to create, as a transformational coach, as a narc coach, to create an atmosphere to where we all can, feel safe in talking about these type of things, right? Because it's supernatural. It's beyond us. As I was just saying, going through what I went through, I allowed the Most High God to break me. May peace and blessings be upon you from the Most High, from Michigan. Okay. Hi, hey. Ibn Malcolm, hi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful you guys have tuned in. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. Yeah, and you don't have to nobody has to agree with everything that I'm saying, right? We all have different experiences, and and I understand that sometimes we've gone through so much that it's like, okay, well, something has to be right. This has to be the way that I'm seeing it, right? I've just learned the hard way that I can't pigeonhole, is it pigeon toe or whatever, I can't put somebody, or even including myself, into this box. Because I used to say this even before I became homeless, before gang stalking was invented. You know what I mean? Well, not before it was invented. Gang stalking's always been around. It just became something after 9/11, a system to control the mass, the public, to mind control them. But, I've always said I am never going to be the same 24 hours from now. And people never knew what I was talking about. You too, Weshant. Thank you so much for your input, hon. Thank you. Right on. Thank you much. So yeah, it's I've always said we're always evolving. I choose to always evolve. I'm never going to have the same beliefs. I am a seeker of truth because I'm a healer. So in order to have, to be able to heal accurately, I need to know those things that I need to know. In order to know, I need to make myself available for the downloads. And you can't get your downloads when you're clogged up, right? I don't want to. I got so far away from the Most High God because I was arguing with people about whether it was Jesus, Yahusha, Isa, whatever you call him, or if was he Satan, was he the devil, right? And when I stopped doing that, it's like, okay, I do want to know what the name is. I want to know the name of the Most High God, whose team I on, whose team am I on? What bloodline traces me back, right? And really, when we're talking about blood, we're talking about energy. We're talking about the cells that make me up as a physical being, right? If particles turn into waves, waves turn into something that is a tangible material thing. Right. When I'm working on an animation, there's this plugin called Transform, which you can make waves. You can make, you can take an image and make it a 3D hologram. right? I can take sound and I can make it react to, I can take a wave and I can make it react to the music, right? So anyway, um, yeah. So I don't want to get back in deuces, Wesh, and thank you so much, hon. Uh, cool beans. I don't want to get involved in those type of. I don't want to debate. My guy, the only thing that I am interested in is getting you on the right path, is getting you to where you can see clearly and be able to walk on your own. I'm here as confirmation. I'm here as a shoulder. I'm here as a place to be safe. I don't want to argue over, what came first, the chicken or the hen or the whatever. I don't want to argue over all that crap. I don't, because really we're all right. We're all right. Right? It's just like the cluster B cocktails. The reason why it's the cluster B cocktail consists of um social borderline personality, histrionic personality, antisocial, sociopathy, and what is the other one? I think it's bipolar. There's supposed to be 8 of them. And anyway, so one usually ends up showing up more than the other. That's what happens. So with us, depending on whether you're a healer, whether you're a creator, are you an architect, are you whatever, right? I'm a healer, so I'm going to be sensing a lot. Doesn't mean that I don't read. I can do both. But where I lean to is going to be on the creation healing thing, the spectrum. So anyway, I wanted to talk about the crime of minding our own business when that's a crime. And the reason why this came up for me was because I'm getting my experience with workplace mobbing. And I don't like it. Of course, I don't like it. I don't like anything that's cluster B digested. I was just notified last night or earlier this morning because I worked a 12-hour shift, and I took some time off today, and I'm grateful for that. I was able to work. It ended up being 12 hours, but it just basically gives me 4 hours, or it might be a 12-hour, depending on if I was able to claim that. But anyway. But yeah, so my job, I sit there and I mind my own business, and I laugh, and I I I do my job. But it's really hard and confusing when people are going after you, not because I talked to a one of the account managers for my job. I do security, and so we have people who are over certain sites in certain areas, right? And so I talked to her, and she says, well, you're the problem. It's not just your job. I'm not going to bring anybody else in because she's telling me I'm not going to investigate what's going on with you, what you've brought up. I'm going to investigate the way I'm going to investigate the way these people want me to, because somebody snitched on you, right? And it's really not snitching if there's nothing to do. But when you mind your own business and you isolate yourself and you have people who are cluster B inclined and you're not giving them anything, right? Because you're the cool kid. How can you be in the presence of them and you're not responding to them? You're not reacting to them. You're literally just minding your own business. And that is a grave offense, right? That's a grave offense for somebody like them. How dare you? Right? And then you ignore them because there's nothing to say. Now, I'm mildly on the spectrum. Okay. I will say that I am mildly on the spectrum. And I only think that I can think that I say that loosely, not to be offensive, but also just to know too, that we do have to heal. We have to rebuild a brain plasticity after dealing with psychic attacks, constant psychic attacks, constant traumas, because like I said, we're energy towers. So whether it's a physical attack or whether it's a physical trauma that we've experienced with people yelling at us or whatever, or whether they're sending it to us, it's all energy. As I just described, I had this woman beating me up, imagining using a pillow, using some type of representation of my body to beat me up. This is the power of your imagination. Yes, no gossip, go to work for work and keep your life private. And that's what I do. And this is what was always I do understand what Wesh was talking about. Like we have agents or, and what you were talking about, Jim, is about us having agents or whatever, right? Because here's the thing. I have people at my work where I don't talk. I say the bare minimum, but I have gotten written up for not talking. Do you know that? I have gotten written up for not speaking when somebody was asking me a question. They wrote me up for violating company policy and cussing and being hostile and rude towards a employee or client. They didn't tell me who. They didn't tell me what I said, who I cussed at, or anything. So I said, I'm not signing it. And I said, from here on out, because this is becoming harassment, I am not going to sign anything that you guys write me up for. Nothing. And left it at that. But I was literally written up for not talking to somebody. And I was in disbelief. I was like, oh my God. Like I didn't even know harassment, get FMLA to take off when they acted. Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. They wrote me up. I couldn't believe it. And so, but I'm minding my own business. So, and me sticking up for and again, we play chess, not checkers. I am always going to be cordial. Right. So I set a boundary with somebody and not realizing that they were a narcissist. I knew that the person was off a little bit because there were certain red flags, but I didn't think that I was going to have to, like, you know what I mean? Like she didn't ring narcissists. And sometimes you don't have to be dealing with narcissists all the time. You can just be dealing with a toxic coworker. Somebody and what her problem was, she's like, I'm morbidly obese. When she said one time, I don't want to be the fat chick that da-da-da-da. And she said something else and I didn't really get all of it, but you know what I mean? So she was letting everybody know she wants to be a part of the in crowd. And she was a part of the in crowd because she was the way that she became part of the cool kids, quote unquote, was she would focus on other people and write them up or being influences to writing them up. And I've noticed this, like, since I've been here, you guys changed the rules to fit personalities. It has nothing to do. If I go through with everything that they've written me up, like not only was I written up for, what did I just say? I was written up for something. I've been written up 4 times. And I'm just like, I'm not signing any of them. I signed one and that was it. Because it was valid. It was my first, offense. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not perfect. But I'm also not going to allow, because when you're dealing with narcissists in the workplace, you give them an opening. You don't have to say much. They're already watching you. I've had so many eyes on me, but one thing that I that I did not expect was to be written up for not engaging with somebody that I don't have to engage with, right? So it was the most bizarre thing. And not only that, but here's what I found with this person. She kept going, and this was from Christmas. So this was from December until now. It's still going. This woman is determined. She's pissed off because and she's not a lead. She's not a supervisor. She's not anything. And what got me with her was that she had come early in the morning. She was going to work a 12-hour too and relieve me. And in coming over, she again, these guys don't like Boundaries. That's the antisocial. I'm not going to respect your boundary because you're my property. You need to be submissive towards me. And that's what I heard her say in her mind. She said, you need to be submissive. Submissive to what? Like you said yourself, what you are. There's nothing to be submissive towards. You have no, even, I'm not even submissive towards the leads. I wasn't submissive towards the account manager. These are people with authority, you know, quote unquote authority. I don't give other people power over me. So it's not that I'm telling anybody my business. I'm stating my, how do I say? It's not, I'm not telling people my business. I'm just stating for them my boundaries. And I literally told the account manager, I don't want to deal with your, don't want to deal, and I will not deal with your adult babies. Because she kept telling me that I was the problem. You're always going to be the problem when in situations like this, because you've come in, they're trying to break you down and make you fit into whatever class, you know, or sector they want you to fit in. You can't place me in anything. Again, why? Because I'm constantly evolving, as we should be. But it's a dangerous game that people play when you're retaliating, you abusing your power to retaliate against somebody who doesn't want you to, who doesn't have a desire to engage any further than hi and bye. There's some things like, oh, hi, Merry Christmas. How are you doing today? You know what I mean? I've had to learn to do small talk. I'm pretty much nonverbal for the most part. But I've had to learn to do small talk. I've had to, since the calling of the purpose of my life to be a motivational speaker and author and you know, a filmmaker. And actually, I have to get out there in the public. I have to get over that things are not always going to be perfect. People are not always going to agree with what you have to say. And still, you have to be obedient. You know, it's hard. It's tough. I don't like it. But this is why I was a dormant dragon before. Because I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait it out until it gets over, right? No, like you can't. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep going. If they fire from me from this job, and I don't really, and honestly, when I told the guy he had come with that in the evening, and he goes, oh, they sent me. Yeah, because I've turned everybody else down, and he probably took it because, oh, I got a good rapport with her. Well, just sign it. And he kept telling me, just sign it because then you can tell your story. I'm going to tell my story regardless. It doesn't matter. But if I signed it, and I told him bluntly, if I sign it, it's legal. That's a contract. I'm not making a contract with you. I didn't make a contract to be workplace mobbed. I didn't make a contract to be gaslit. I didn't make a contract for two people to obsess over me. And I just started. Because they feel that they have some position of power. That's narcissism. When you feel that you have a position of power that you don't have. Right? Well, the other thing that has been really interesting, because so what I'm seeing here in the job, in the workplace, is that it's the same thing as if you were to be in a relationship with one. With a cluster B personality. Same thing. You got the flying monkeys, which are the other ones who really don't want to speak up, but they don't want to be cussed out. And then energetically, still amazes me how these guys can take over energetically. Right? Like these guys, when the narcissist gets upset, like this woman was upset because she got embarrassed. She didn't get her way. Minding my own business. I was not going to allow you to, and I told them, like, I'm not going to allow you to punish me. When they gave me 2 write-ups, and one of the write-ups was because I still didn't, they wanted me to really like engage with this woman because that's what she was looking for. She's still not engaging with me. She's still not giving me eye contact. She's still not, you know, basically they sat the chairs back next to each other. Like I would have been having to touch this person. And the fact that this woman, that was the reason why I didn't stick with it. signed the other one because I was like, okay, look, if yeah, it's all about feeling powerful to them. Real power comes when you can hold your peace. Exactly, exactly, exactly. And I held my peace and held my ground. But this person, so which means that she's still going to go on and on and on and on, you know. And but the thing with these guys is that fuel and supply. Exactly, well put, Jim. So the fact that I am not being submissive, the fact, so when you're in the workplace, you have to know your rights and know, I guess it's about doing your work though. You have to, if you're already on this journey and you already know that what I learned on the streets is that the Most High is my source and my supply. One thing that cluster B personalities, that the principles and principalities of this world are doing, is making us think that they are the end and the beginning, that without them, you're nothing. But it's really without my supply, right? She wanted to get supply from me. She thought, oh, you're a nice person, but she thought, oh, you're a pushover. That translates for narcissists as you're a pushover. I can get supply from you, but as soon as you shut off from me, then that lets other people know that there's something wrong with me. Then they're going to start digging into what's wrong with me and what my deepest, darkest secrets might be revealed to them, which some of them were. I also found out this person was not just they were not just trying to get me written up, but they were what she started doing too was hiding my belongings. Like if I left something there, she'd hide it. I got a cubby hole, and she was tag teaming with another person. I got a cubby hole. They would put things in the cubby hole. So I started going to work, and it's the thing when you're dealing with people with cluster B personalities, a lot of times we have to go out of our way. They make more work for us. Right? And they get off on it. They do it automatically and they get off on it. And here's the weird thing. This is not the first person, not the first cluster B that I've ran into. The other one was actually fired. But not for harming me. Can you understand that? They were not fired for getting physical and threatening and bullying me and gaslighting me and literally lying on me. I had to deal with this for 2 months. Every time that woman, that creature came to relieve me from my shift, there was going to be conflict. I have been called the N word in Spanish twice. I was trying to understand. I said, why is this person worried about whether or not I get to work overtime or not? Like she was trying to literally negate this, but this person had no, again, no power, no authority, no title that said that she should know anything about me. Two true empaths chopping it up. Yep. Oh, yes, it is time for a lawsuit, and I have called a lawyer, but I don't know how far that's going to go, and I kind of feel blockages, because that's why people keep telling me they're literally looking for something, and I want to get out before. And I'm asking the Most High God for clarity, but people will literally create a situation. I have had this happen. So let me tell you guys this. So when minding your own business is a crime, to people who are delusional in the first place, right? You're not paying anybody else's bills, but you think that you need to know everybody else's business. Okay. So what the first lady did, go ahead, baby girl. Go ahead, mama. Go ahead, mama. There you go. My baby's trying to get down into sleep. So what she did, she had been focusing on me and I could feel her energy. And we'll just call her Gigi. Gigi had been through 3 shifts. She was on her 3rd shift. So she had run the gambit, right? She had run the gamut. So she had been, okay, I'm going to Do the morning, when do swing shift. Now I'm gonna do graveyard because I need to. It's all about the kids and da, 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 da. This way, you already know narcissists don't care about the kids. But here's what I found too is uh she thought that she could manipulate, she could bully me in or get me fired or whatever. That's basically first she was trying to convince me, and I heard her. So I'm clairaudient, and I heard her. Oh, just take the graveyard shift. Just so you're using witchcraft to get me to take the graveyard shift so you could have back the swing. She tried that with the morning guard, Miss Smith. We'll call her. Since you said that mantra, I feel lighter. Okay, good, 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 good. Yeah, go ahead and look it up too. It's the Buri Buri Nazar mantra. It's for the evil eye. They have a very hour version and a 4-minute version. I use the 4-minute version because I can say it. Anything that you say, it's going to because it cleared me up too. To be honest with you, I'd been having a little headache because you know, and sometimes it's the evil eye, and another time it's just somebody trying to attach their consciousness to your creativity. I have that a lot, and it's sometimes the Most High God has to step in and do the unthinkable because people won't let you go. And I'm, waiting for that. But yeah. So anyway, Gigi went after me because I set a boundary with her. She decided that she was going to show me that she was in control by by basically almost hitting me, right? When you're climbing over somebody to get to something, which I've never heard of. I told him, I said, you could look at all the footage. There's a camera right on at the guard station. You can look at the footage. And mind you, this is not only at work. I was minding my own business before I started being gang stalked and harassed in Sacramento by the Northerners and various gang members. You found it, Jim? Good job. Good job. By various gang members for minding my own business but setting a boundary. All right. But their curiosity was piqued. I was always told that, oh, you think that you're better than us? No. But now after being on the streets, I said, yeah, you know what? I am. You're damn right. I think I'm better than you. I think I'm better than a bunch of sex traffickers, a bunch of, child violators. I'm pretty sure I'm better than you, as a matter of fact. So I own that. And but what Gigi would do is for the next 2 months. I mean, it's weird how people. It's like, oh, what do you mean that you're not going to know that you're not going to let me do whatever it is that I want to do to you? And she proceeded to keep coming for me for 2 months. I had bubble guts every time she came on, even though I had the mantras, because it was amazing too, because it just confirmed what I already know. She had that demon in her. She would literally project herself and present herself. It was weird because she was another entity. She would present herself as one way, but she was literally a nasty, toxic, demonic energy. And I remember I started to avoid her because everybody's like, well, why you guys only have 30 minutes together? Why is there so much hostility? There's so much hostility because she's making it hostile. But yet again, here it is. I'm being blamed because I'm outnumbered. I'm outnumbered in race. There are very few Black people there. It's the whole job is pretty much 95-98% Hispanic, Mexican. You got a few Asians in there, but some of them, depending where they're from, consider themselves also Mexican or Hispanic. Right. It's not that you think you're better than them. They think it's projecting how they feel. Right. 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 And forgive me because I've been through a battle all week, and it's like I told one lady last night, because I don't care, right? What people think about me, but I'm not telling people my plans for the future. I'm not. And really, and I thought about this too. It's like, when you're dealing with high level witchcraft, you don't have to say anything to anybody. They're watching you. The succubus was watching me, remote viewing. She was literally posted over my left shoulder, as if we were bosom buddies, as if she was sitting right there in the physical, watching me do whatever I did, watching my bank account. And I would hear her, go check your bank account, go do this, go do that, or come down, call me. Why aren't you calling? I heard her ask, why aren't you calling? Because I don't like you. If I don't like you, why would I waste my time calling you? If I pass you, I'm going to say hi and bye. That's it. But you see, it's like people get offended. I've targeted you, but you're not allowing me to have the time of day. You're not giving me the time of day. And no, I'm not. So anyway, I don't want to be too long. It's long enough as it is, but I just wanted to bring this up. So the crime of minding your own business will offend those who feel that they are entitled to everybody's energy and time. Not just entitled, but to those who have no position of power, or maybe even are abusing their positions of power to manipulate the masses so that they always constantly stay on top and have a source of supply. This is in the workplace. This is in the neighborhood. You got neighbors that think, oh, you're a little bit kooky because you don't do certain things that they do, or you don't want to join out in the barbecue or whatever. This is what started me being gang stalked in my neighborhood, because people were like, oh, you think you're better than us. I never said a word about that. And I understand what you're saying, Jim. But when you're dealing with people with the minds of anywhere from 3 to 6 to 7 year olds who have been traumatized, or not, because sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with the being traumatized. They've been off. They like what they do. They like what they do. And it's frustrating. But the thing that I would say, if you're working at your job, because this is what I did, I held my peace. And I calculatedly, the more you hold your peace, the more they show their hands. And when I say show their hands, it's not that they're going to, show what they're doing, but the more they're going to act out. The one lady could not help but slander me. She was slandering me to everybody, and people were coming to me and saying and warning me. One guy, he warned me. He said, she's not going to let up. There's something wrong with her. He said this. This is a guard that works in the graveyard and only passes, deals with her for 30 minutes in the morning when he gets off. And he told me real quick, which I was really happy about. He said, he just confirmed. It was just confirmation. He said, she's off. She has it in for you. Now, I can't use that legally, right? Because it's hearsay. No, I mean, and I don't want to put him under the bus. I know if I ever to be, go to lawsuit, there's more than enough. They've done more than enough. And I have more than enough evidence against them. Somebody, that was weird because somebody else said that they're going to, they're suing them too. So there's a lot of lawsuits coming for this company. So I don't have to worry, the cool thing is that one thing that you can use their tools against them. So what I started doing is I held my cool. I still stuck to my boundaries because I am not going to pretend like I'm bosom buddies. I will be cordial because we're in a business. This is a business. I still kept my distance. I recorded everything when I went in, whether it's legal or not. I don't give a shit right now, but I recorded it. And they knew I was recording. I didn't over explode when they were moving my stuff. I had a woman look into my book bag or my little backpack purse. Opened it, left it open on purpose to let me know that she had violated my space. See, when they can't stand it, and they're not going to keep the mask open or the mask on. They can't. The mask will crack. You hold your center. Even if they say, okay, well, we don't want you here, it's like, okay, so give me a reason why. When he came in and said you violated this, that's your two. Anybody can write that up. You're not giving me time, dates, or names, which you're required to do. When I write an incident report, I put it into another another program on behalf of the supervisor or one of the security professionals. When I write that incident report, it's time and date. I saw this. This is what happened. This is how it ended. End of report. Right? So listen, don't get afraid. Don't get triggered just by, because a lot of people get triggered. Oh, I'm getting written up. Okay, yeah, it's a nasty thing to get written up. It's supposed to be a nasty thing, but really is it a nasty thing? You know? So when you hold your cool, when you stand firm on your boundaries, when you set when you ask the right questions, right? When you're listening to your intuition and you're asking the right questions, you're doing the right things. When you're leaving a paper trail. So for me, I left a paper trail of harassment by emailing my account manager who's supposed to look into it. Do you know that they've been taking care of it, but they haven't been confirming with me that this is what we took, right? So, and this is how you know that you're dealing with a narcissist employee or coworker, is that they won't confirm. They don't want you to know that you were right. Right? But so even if they come back and say later, oh, well, we didn't know. I emailed you here at this time. We took care of that. How come you didn't follow up with me? Well, we didn't think. No. Anybody who's doing investigation would be following up. Right? When you don't follow up with somebody, it means you don't want them to know. Right? So it's Phoenixes is all about playing our cards right. Playing chess, not checkers. The way that you beat a narcissist is by not giving them supply. Doesn't mean that I don't get upset. I do get upset. But it's not the kind, I'm not upset over what they think that I should be upset, what they wanted me to be upset about. Right? I'm not going to be submissive to people who are bleed just like me, who are flesh and blood. Right? I'm in the world, but I'm not of it. You can do whatever you want, but it doesn't mean that I have to adhere to it. You don't have to have me working for your company or on that certain property that you're over, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to pay me. And this is what I told them. I said, you guys are going to pay me, reimburse me for every second that I have been harassed since I've been working for you. As I decree, so shall it be with the Most High's efficiency. You will pay me for every second that I have cried at that job by myself when everybody has left, because I still haven't completed the rest of my healing from being in the den of the devil, the devil's den, as I called it. Still being harassed, still being stalked, still having witchcraft shit done, against me. So when you know how powerful you are, minding, you can claim these things. But yes, sometimes minding your own business is a crime to people who want to siphon your energy, who see you as a source and supply, who see you as a number, right? Who see you as a number. They have been resisting me since I started at this place. I couldn't even get company health insurance and I was here on time. They blocked me for some reason. I was able to get into sites and applicate and, use certain apps and then all of a sudden it just shut off. Right? So it's not by coincidence, but just do these things. Hold your center. Do not get overly emotional. Make sure that you've used have a paper trail, whether it be email, whether it be voice recording, or record. The cool thing is that I know I can record anything at any time because I have no shame. I had to do it all the time. That's why I'm working on my documentary, to show you guys this is what it was like for me being homeless for 3 years. This is what it was like. Right? So, and keep, and also here, take the time off. Know what is available to you. If you can take time off, take time off. Right? Stop doing extra work for, stop. Do not be led by fear is the most important. Do not be led by fear at your job. Right? I like that TikTok. I just saw it the other day. That TikTok that said, we're all co-workers, and we're supposed to work together, but you didn't help, Susan and Benny, do this. And could you explain why? And the voice that says, oh, sure I can. It says it right here. Your paycheck does not does not require you to talk to these people about anything in your business. You don't have to give them none of your energy, because you do not get paid enough. That is not your position. You were hired to do as a security professional, to work the outside. You don't have any extra responsibilities but to be in zone 1, and that's what you do. You report on zone 1. If somebody calls you to zone 2, you don't have nothing to do with zone 2. It's one of those things. So, and breathe. Do not allow yourself. And that's what's when we get to this point, Phoenixes, when some of us, when we're like, okay, when is this? I keep hearing that my ships are coming in. I keep hearing that there's a transformation of transference of wealth. I keep hearing that my enemies are going to be under my feet. I keep hearing this, but I'm not seeing it. It doesn't feel like it. I still feel sick to my stomach. I'm still in cold sweats. I still haven't healed all the way. I still haven't lost the weight that I wanted to lose. I still haven't met the soulmate that I wanted to meet. I still haven't built the business that I wanted to build, but I've been going through the steps, and I'm getting exhausted because every time I build, it gets destroyed, and I'm doing everything to fortify this, but I keep getting sabotaged. Why? Because they want you to quit. Think about every one of your favorite films, right? One of your favorite little fantasy films or whatever, right? At that point in the hero's journey, right? They've they don't I don't want to call, I don't want to do this, man, put it on somebody else. Then finally they answer, and it's usually because of love, right? Or usually it's because of love, or they want revenge, right? But then they go through this transformation. They go through this character arc, right? And so when they go to that character arc, then we're in the third act. And the third act is usually the finale, right? But then there's a kind of like the third act splits, and you think that, okay, this is going to be the end, and then that something comes out of the blue, and they say, oh, we got you, and they're down. It's like the final boss at the end of the game. I thought that I was winning. I did everything, and you watch your whole life burn. I watched my whole life burn, and I became homeless. I had people making fun of me. I had people making fun of me while I was on the streets. I had people still trying to kill me while I was on the streets, trying to scramble to make sense of what just happened. Who did what? Why am I here? Wakanda forever. That scene where I didn't even watch. I just got clips. I'm not going to watch the movie at all because it's a lot of propaganda, and I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of Black people in general being used willingly. Sometimes they allow themselves, because this should not have been made the way that it was, from what I'm seeing and what I'm sensing. And they got it. When they can blackmail you for something, they can infuse themselves into whatever they want. But here you had this guy, this Aztec of the water, the sea, burned down like Tulsa, Oklahoma. a black empire. Because why? He didn't feel that they had the right to share any of their wealth with any outsiders. Now, he was partially right, but he wasn't being loyal. He wasn't being authentic. He meant it for himself. From what I hear, the character Namor has always been a narcissistic sociopath. So I think the casting was accurate, but just, yeah. So that's what it feels like. And then when you feel like you can't do anymore, and it feels like you're stagnant, and then it feels like I don't even want to lift another finger. I don't want to take another workshop. I don't want to take another class. I don't want to try and get another client. I don't want to pay for another YouTube ad, Facebook ad, Amazon ad. I don't want to pay for anything anymore. I feel like I've already paid for it. When I was at my height, when I had the most passion, I already did what I was supposed to do. And now look at me. And sometimes we get mad at God. We curse God. We curse our ancestors. We curse our guides. I've cursed my guides before. I mean, I said, okay, now I know though. I know that that's the plan of the enemy. When I start doing that, it's like, nope, I say, thank you guys. I said, even if I told my guides the other day, I said, you know what? I love you because I know you're here. I know I'm not intermittent fasting. When I tell you guys, I fasted to the point of delirium. That's how strong, because I could not eat. And it could have been because of the attaching to my solar plexus, like Jim was talking about, a demonic entity. And that's so cool that you said that, because yeah. An etheric attachment, to etheric parasitic attachment. Yes. But because that's exactly what it was. And I remember when the Most High had showed me it, and I came across that video. If I do, I'll put a snippet on my my TikTok. But so if you guys haven't subscribed, please do. Please share this with other people, because I really want to start getting more listeners and more feedback so that I can know what you guys need. You know, I post in the community. Please interact with that just to get the algorithms up. I very much appreciate it, because I am being blocked. I am being shadow banned, but it's not by, I don't believe that it's by YouTube personally, because there's nothing that I'm really saying. I mean, I can ruffle feathers. Let me not be naive. I I do ruffle feathers, but I don't think that it's something that they would shadow ban. They would just end my YouTube channel. If my TikTok is at Phoenix's Rising Academy. Go to the description, Jim. And no, I don't smoke. But go to the description, and there's all my links, and you'll see the Phoenix Rising Academy. And that's my link tree with all my other links to it. I also have Blue Phoenix Rising Media LLC and Rising Phoenix's Designs. If you guys want to check out my calendars, you can actually print those out, buy them and print those out yourselves. I also have an Etsy where I have designs for the tribe. If you guys want to get some, I have blankets and shower curtains and tote bags with some witchy gitchy stuff on there. And I got some, I love this. I just did some digital artwork about church lady and church hats, and I think of the steampunk version, and they came out badass. So, you know. Oh, no. No, I quit smoking for a year now, since December's over. A little over a year. Yeah. No. And and that's what's hard too, because now I have to get everything back into alignment. Because I am determined, I still have my goals, and you never stop. So the reason why you never give up, do not blame God, praise God even more. Right. And sometimes we lose our voice. I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but sometimes you lose our voice. I woke up for the last week. I believe that there's been some witchcraft. I've been choking on things. Right. And I don't normally do that. Um, again, the evil entities will try and convince you that you have something that you don't, because they're projecting it onto you. And so they've tried to convince me that I had PCOS, because the succubus has PCOS. The succubus has digestive issues. And so when she's in my energy and I'm blocking her from being in my energy or sending me any type of demonic entities or energy, in the form of rituals or Santa Muerte or some type of demonic marriage that she's trying to make a pact, like she owns me or something. And I'm so tired of racists too. It's like, you're racist, but you think that you have power over me. No, it's just not gonna work. Um, it doesn't work like that. And the jungle fever too, like, we're just sex objects. And I'm wondering, because these, for me, these have been Hispanics and one white woman who's done it. Two Hispanic women and one, yeah, two Hispanic women and one white woman who I've, had the misfortune of constantly dealing with, like, for over 2 years. One's been over almost 10 years. Like, that's how obsessed. And it's like, it's, we're not exaggerating when we say that dealing with these sociopaths, these cluster B cocktails, it's not just narcissism, it's the whole damn cocktail, man. But yeah. So anyway, hopefully this helped you. I know it took me a long time to get through, but when minding your business is a crime, and especially at your work, when you don't talk to anybody else, when you don't gossip, they will make things up about you. They will go and try and find things. Like, for one thing, the lady Smith, who's taking it personally that I am not taking to her brand of justice and or vigilanteism or whatever it is she feels that she is, and slandering me, um, for just not paying attention to her and not allowing myself to be a source of supply for her. And um, yeah, no, uh, it's lost my train of thought, but yeah, it's just keep to it, again, make sure, stay centered. One, stay centered, right? Two, stand your ground. Continue to place up your boundaries. Can just state it succinctly. You do not get over emotional about anything. Do not get over emotional. You can show emotion because that's energy in motion. But when you start getting toxic is when you start, oh, well, this person did this and this person did that. And now, da, 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 da. No, 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 no. I ended up doing that later, where I emailed the account manager and told her, this person is they've had sex out in the car. They're not supposed to be doing this, but they're doing this. See, after you try and transfer to me sins of the other coworkers, I'm going to point out exactly who's doing it, because you've tried throwing me under the bus because of my skin color, my gender, and my sexual orientation, and the fact that I'm an empath. And that's what I don't understand. On one hand, they know that we're empaths, but on the other hand, they seem to have amnesia, right? And so you can use these things once you understand. If you guys take my 8-week course, right? My 8-week program, From Sealed to Healed, the first thing we go into is their tactics. And I will beat this into you guys' head from a different level than what you've ever experienced, because I want you to know that this is spiritual and physical, and how to recognize it materializing in the physical from the spiritual. Because these women have both, they have so deep, dark, demonic entity attachments on them, that I've met them. It's like, you're no longer being greeted by the human that you see before you now, because they don't have to keep up the mask in the spiritual realm, because they recognize you now. But then suddenly they go dumb, which is amazing to me. So make sure that you're just standing your ground. Use email correspondence. Make sure that, so that way you have put time, date, and a synopsis of, just clearly state what happened, when, what, who, where, what, and why. Don't wait for a response. You don't have to do Anything that you're not comfortable with. If they try and make you go and have a meeting, and they're trying to force you to meet with somebody who has abused you, and whether it be physical, sexual, or otherwise, or financial, on the job or off the job, you know what I mean? You don't have to meet. It's not a loss for you. You win in the end, no matter what. You've already won. Sometimes also remember this too, because when minding your business is when they feel like they can't use you, it's a childish thing. But also God is using you to clear that out. God revealed that to me when I got here to this position. And I'm like, okay, I'm done now, right? To me right now, I'm done. I'm like, I'm over it. I'm all out. I'm done, because I can already tell it's going to build up to something. And, I'm not going to lose my temper, but I just don't want to absorb, I mean, I don't want to be put through it. But God will put us in places because he knows that we're right for the job. So really, we've been hired by God, not by man. And God had to remind me about that a couple weeks ago. Like, I hired you. They can't take anything from you. I hired you. So so that way you don't have a fear of man taking your job. Have a fear of not being obedient, and not, because what we go through helps the collective. It helps us to grow. We get rewarded in the spiritual and in the physical. And the way that this place is going, like these guys, I'm not the first one. And I met the people. I've met people, 2, 3, there's been 4 people, 2 of them Black. One was a Mexican young gay male, beautiful. And one of the women that have been harassing me, right? And mean mugging me and threatening me, like literally threatening me. Can you believe that? Like, wow, like these guys get bold when they know that you're strong and that you have a bold presence. They will do, because they know they're in the environment. They're in the water fits them fine. But this young man, the lady was like, oh, hey, how you doing? We know. And I told her, I said, I didn't tell her personally, but, and she has an entity on her too. And I felt its little tentacles, like there was tentacles, and it was trying to see, like place itself on me to try and feel and sense something. See, I do believe that we're multidimensional, right? So we all wear masks in some way, shape, or form, right? I've seen my higher self. My higher self is my guide. My higher self in different realms, past, present, and future. Right? So I've seen my higher self, and my higher self is a badass. We don't play. Because there's been times where people have come at me in my dream state, because you've blocked me from actually speaking to my kin, because you're jealous, because you want what the riches that I'm not going to spend riches, throw my pearls to swine. Are you crazy? Money on a 35-cent hollow point, but I'm not going to, you out your mind. And that was really hard when I lost that connection, um, but yeah, just bringing that up, kind of, because that was sad. It's weird when and it wasn't that I needed to spend time with her. We were already spending time, but somebody was so jealous. Olga was so jealous. It's weird how she either wanted my kin, or she wanted me, or both. It's like, nobody's looking at you like that, dude. I don't think if anybody would look at a child molester in a lustful way. A repeat offender on top of that. So sometimes having gifts, and all the clairs is really hard, because you can feel, because they're projecting that onto you, and in defiance, they will let you know, I'm going to reoffend. Right? There's been movies done on that, like, kind of fiction movies, but it's real to life, you know? Anyway, so I'm losing my train of thought, which means I got to get off. I've been on here too long. It's almost 2 hours. So I appreciate you guys for sticking with me and for participating. This has been the best live that I've ever done. Please pass this on and share it, and hit the button, so the bell, so that you know when I'm going to post, and I will let you guys know soon, whether or not when the time to be announced for the From Sealed to Healed 8-week program is going to start. And that 8-week program is first, we're going into cluster B personalities. What are they? What are their tactics? And what is the system? How to identify them. And then the second part is getting to your authentic self with the 4 steps: reveal, heal, grow, and show. And those are the ingredients. And then with this consists of, you can pick a spot and have 2 uh, 90-minute, or excuse me, 60-minute. They're usually $90 consultations for 60 minutes, right? Or coaching sessions with me, right? Just depending, or it's depending on, hey, if you just wanted to get something off your chest, or you just want some support, ear to listen to, whatever. And I'll get in more detailed on that later on. But if you guys want individual coaching sessions, right, then it's still going to be $90 for 60 minutes. And but I don't have that up right now, I don't believe, because I'm not ready. I still have to get myself prepared. But just stay tuned. Please go to all my social media and just to keep abreast. Okay, I love you guys, and I thank you so much for participating. Your likes, subscribes, and shares. And remember, your blessings, phoenixes, are in your ashes. Rise.